Hello everyone to another video. Today we are going to be making or remaking an older video, and why I'm doing this is because I have heard from a few people where they were saying that the feature doesn't work with containers, and so I thought, why not remake it for containers? Hopefully everyone is using containers by now, and make it a little bit better, and you will see what I mean. So let's get into it. Alright everyone, so this is what we are making today. I think it's pretty cool, and it's a little bit of an update to the previous feature that I made, which was for sections or with sections. And this time, as you can see, when you scroll on the actual container, the color of the background changes as well as the color of the text. And I think that's pretty cool. It gives that web flowy effect. Am I obsessed? I am. So, as you can see, this first image has a background shadow or border shadow, I don't know how you call it, and we can make this. I did this in the previous video, and I think it's pretty cool. It kind of like gives that image some life. Or you can just keep it as simple as these images are and still has a great effect. Also, this, for example, this container is clickable. As you can see, all containers have the cursor pointer set, or in case you want to make this container clickable. So I added that feature, if you can call it like that, to this container to see how it works. So basically you hover over it, you see that it's clickable, and you click on it, and it takes you to wherever you want it to take you. And I set this to lead to an internal page, so you can do that. Basically, you could have here your team listed with their pictures, and you could have a page for each teammate to describe them, to talk about them, and whatever. Or you can have a completely different thing, but you have the option to click on the container, which is fantastic. All right, so we are starting off with this beautiful container. So the container size, it's up to you what size you give it and where you have this feature, but I have given it 100 VH, and I have justified the content center as well as a column vertical, as well as align the items in the center. Basically everything is in the center of the container, and it looks nice and clean. If you want this gradient, these are the settings for it. So it's a gradient, obviously. I will have these details in the code that I will have in the description, so you can use it as well. All right, so let's get into it because there's a lot to talk about. All right, so I'm gonna add a container in here, and I'm gonna set this container to be row horizontal because we want the elements to stack next to each other, and also set them to have space in between and all be in the center of the container. Okay, let's add our heading. Whoops, let's go and add a heading, and I will just add Jane Doe here, Jane Doe, and I will just change the color because it's very disgusting. This blue is very disgusting. All right, so I am going to also add an image inside here, and let's choose an image. All right, let's continue with the same images that we have in the example. So let's go and change the size of this image because it's huge, and I'm gonna set it to custom and give it a percentage of, let's say, 15% in size. Okay, let's add our text editor, and here it's up to you what you add. And this is not working. Okay, so basically I will just drag this text like this, and let's say, let's call this guy. His profession is an art director. Wow, I can't type while I'm talking. All right, so I'm going to also set this to be black color, and font size, we're gonna deal with the font size in a bit. Let's just edit this image, and I'm going to go to style, because once we make it disappear with CSS, we're not going to see it, and it's going to be pretty hard to style it. So I have given it a border radius of 6, and let's give this image a box shadow as we said, and I'm going to set the vertical box shadow to 40, blur to 30. And the spread, I'm going to say minus 30. And it can be even 32, maybe the blur 29, and the vertical box shadow to 41. Anyway, you can play around with this to see what looks good for you. And I will update, and in terms of text, let me show you something cool. And I have to say thank Imran for this from Web Squadron, because oh my god, this is freaking amazing. So basically I am using now font for the font sizes. I'm using the clamp, and it's a bloody magic thing to use. So I will leave his video in the description below. Probably he's going to explain better than I'm going to explain right now. And what I'm doing is basically I'm setting the maximum size, basically the size that you want to start your font to be. Let's say in my case, I'm going to, let me just go a little bit back, and this is not set yet. I will set it to 2 rem, and we are going to, so basically let's just set it to 2 rem, and the minimum size, basically the more mobile size that will go up to 380 pixels, is going to be 1 rem, and that's it. You don't have to calculate anything, you just copy this portion of the code. It's gonna copy everything basically again. Just copy it from here and go in your heading and add it here. So I'm going to go down and paste my code. Make sure to delete the semicolon as well as this part here, the font property. You don't need that, just leave this portion, and that's it. And also make sure that you don't have anything set on these devices, because otherwise it's not going to take effect. So make sure that you see this, the clamp. Let's see, all set. And as you can see, it's so freaking fluid, I love it. And I'm going to do the same thing for the text on the right. So I'm going to set this text to 1.5, and the minimum size is going to go down to 0.8 and not below that. So let's copy that and oops, and let's add it in here and paste, and just remove this, and then we are all set. Okay, so let's set this container to full width, and let's have a look. All right, we are good to go. Okay, one more thing I want to do is basically give this container margin bottom, a border bottom, and go to style, go to border type, solid, and just unlink this and have the bottom set to 1, and also set it to black. Make sure that it's black, because if you add a link, this is going to turn into red. So make sure that you have this set to a color that you want. So let's see how this looks. Okay, it's huge, yes, I know, but we're gonna fix this. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to basically add in the CSS, and I'm adding the CSS at top level, and that means I'm going to go in the container itself and add it in the container. So let's add it in here. And nothing is happening because we need to give this image a class. So I'm going to call this img1, and poof, it disappeared. And nothing is happening right now because we need to give this container a class as well. And the class for this is, let's check our code, and I think it's called text. And this is the class for the container. So let's go back to the container and add the class in here, and it's working. We also need to add a class on this text, and I'm going to call this, let's see how I called it in the code, and I called it paragraph scroll. And I will come back to this and I will explain the code. And as you can see, it's working. So let's go back. And as you can see, it's freaking working, and it's beautiful. Let's see how it looks, what happens to the text. As you can see how fluid the text is, it's unbelievable. How beautiful it is. There's no like jerking of the text once it reaches a certain media query. It's just it's beautiful. And I think I will be using Clamp from now on for my text, and I will see how well I will be able to incorporate this with other things such as images and other things. But I really recommend that you use it. And I know that it's not supported on Internet Explorer, but who's using Internet Explorer anyway? So I'll leave you a link in the description below to see what browsers support this feature in CSS. So I think it's really safe to use from now on. All right, and yes, everything is working. And it's pretty cool, right? So let's duplicate this and let's see how things work. I'll duplicate and look at this. We obviously need to change the image. Oops, let me just go and choose another image. And look how cool this is. Obviously, you can change the size of the image. Let me just update this and let's go back. And if you think this image is too big or too small, you can always adjust it and click on the image and simply either drag the image or adjust it from your editor. I think it's pretty cool, even this big. Maybe it's a little bit too big. Depends what you're going for. So it's nice. Let's see what happens on mobile. Yeah, the image is pretty cool. Of course, as I said earlier, there's no hover effect on these devices, tablet and mobile, so you will have to think of something to make this work. I would definitely say that you just make this image visible, and I will show you how to do that. So let's copy the style of this image. Copy and paste style. And as you can see, it's huge as well. Paste style. And paste style. And now all images are the same, and how cool is this? And let's go and check out the code a little bit. Let's go to custom CSS, and so let's go to our custom CSS and let's add a media query. So this is the media query that I am talking about that will make the images on tablets. So basically the max width of 768, which is the tablet size, the images will show. And as I said, you will need basically to maybe just give this container a height. Let's see how we can make this work. And probably this is what I would go for. It's not the best. Maybe you can find a better option. Maybe switch these elements to be vertical. They are here. So you will have to adjust this and see what works for you. Let's see another one. How this works. Let's go to 50. Yeah, maybe it is a little bit too much. I don't know. But you can have a play with it and see how this works for you. That's all I can say. So you have options. I don't think this is bad, but maybe it's a little bit, it takes a little bit too much space on the sides, like you have too much empty space. Let's see on mobile. Yeah, maybe make the image bigger. Whoops. Something like this. I mean, it's not bad necessarily, to be honest. Let's see. Not bad. Let's do this as well. Yeah, can be cool. So have a play with this and see what works for your use case. All right, so I said that we can make these containers clickable, and yes, we can. So basically what you have to do is just select the container, go to layout, to additional options, and switch the HTML tag to a link. And now it's clickable. So now you have to choose a link, and I will choose the internal link. I'm going to go to content and select, I don't even know what pages because I have so many pages. Okay, let's go to stagger text. All right, so let's update this. So basically I just made only one clickable, and let's go and check it out. So let's see what happens. And boom! This is the video from last week. If you have not seen it, watch it here somewhere. And this is it. And I think it's pretty cool. So let me know what you think, and I will have all the code and all the information in the description below. And if there's something not working for you, let me know as well. Also, I said I'm going to explain something with the code. So let's go a little bit in the code again, custom CSS. And I am going to go all the way down. So basically, this is where you change the color of the text on hover and the color of the background on hover as well. So let's say I want to change it to red. I know, weird. And here I'm going to change it to weird as well. It's ugly, but whatever. And as you can see, the text has changed color. I will also change it in here. Obviously make it better. This is really ugly, but this is what you would do. So basically this is where you change the colors of the text and on hover here as well. So this is the portion. I will have comments for this so you know what to do. Also, for these paragraphs here, I have given them a class, and it's the same class for obviously all of them, all these text editor widgets. So if you go, let's go a little bit in the code. As you can see here, for the H2 basically, or the heading, we have the Elementor class. It doesn't work if you set this basically to an H2. It doesn't work. So we have to have this class. And this will not affect other heading elements that you have on the page. And I think I've covered everything. So let me know in the comments below if there's anything that I missed. If you'd like to see what else you can make with Elementor, watch this playlist here. And if you have gotten any value out of this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. And I'll see you next time.